The Conjuring, 2013 horror film by James Wan, the first installment in the Conjuring universe, which now consists of 7 different horror movies. It is based on a real story, or at least as much of it you are willing to believe, of the Perron family. In the early 1970s, the family, consisting of mother, father, and 5 daughters, moves into an old farmhouse and starts noticing all this paranormal stuff happening around them. The doors open by themselves, clocks stop in the middle of the night. One of the daughters repeatedly gets woken up by an invisible something or someone pulling their leg, or her leg rather. So initially, the family tries to dismiss those occurrences, but as they grow increasingly worried, they end up contacting Ed and Lorraine Warren, paranormal investigators, also real people. They then come to the house and try to figure out who or what is haunting it. Now, this sounds like a pretty cookie cutter horror film, and it kind of is. If I had to use one word to describe it, it would be alright. It is a competent film that plays well with the standard tools of the genre to scare the viewer and tell an interesting story. It doesn't invent anything new or try to be too creative with what it's doing. It's all mostly standard, from the types of scares and music to character archetypes and story beats. But it uses those standard elements rather well. If I had to note anything remarkable, it would probably be the disciplined and restrained approach to the scares. A lot of the horror films fall into the trap of jump scares in that most cliched and predictable form. You will have a character be spooked by something and then they come up closer and closer to investigate. The music mounts up and gets louder and louder, and then the character finally rounds the corner or opens the door, and there's silence and nothing, and then you have the jump scare. And The Conjuring plays with this rather cleverly, because most of the times it will refrain from that sudden spike in sound and something scary just jumping at you. It will hold the silence much longer than you expect, and if anything scary at all does happen on the screen, it will not be completely sudden. It will be slower instead, and as a result, I thought much more effective. On the internet, it seems like most people found the film absolutely terrifying, especially when it was first released. I'm not in that camp. I thought it was rather average on the scale of fear. But I will admit that even when the scares didn't terrify me, they were very entertaining. I was able to appreciate them for how they were constructed and built. So the conclusion is that I liked The Conjuring. It didn't bore me. It was quite fun, well paced, and a good looking film with a solid climax. It doesn't break any new ground, doesn't revolutionize the genre, but manages to be a pretty decent representative of it.